All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Anthony here, down Stormwatch. Welcome in, everyone. We're going to start talking about our next storm system coming in this weekend. Here in just a minute. Just have a few more things I need to get set up for you guys. So bear with me here just a moment. So I need to cross post the stream to a few other sources, and then we will begin our live chat. All right. While we're starting things out, go ahead and let me know where you're watching from and how your day is going so far, if you feel like answering. All right, just posting on Blue Sky and X real quick, and then be ready to go. Possibility too that maybe YouTube's notification system isn't working as well as it should. Because we only have 2 people on as of now. Okay, there we go. We got it posted. All right, any comments yet? Nope, no comments yet. All right, but let's stop delaying and let's jump right into things, shall we? So as usual, starting out here on windy.com, satellite imagery. Here's our Pineapple Express. See, tapping right into the Hawaiian subtropics and moving a band of water vapor all the way up currently into the Haida Gwaii area. It's currently extending all the way up into the Gulf of Alaska right now, but this will gradually begin to push east across Vancouver Island tonight and tomorrow, and then start clipping the northwestern portions of the region later tomorrow and into Sunday. And then by the time we get through Sunday, most of the region should be under the gun for the atmospheric river. Let's check things out. It's been a little while since I've refreshed this. I want to go to the 18Z experimental model real quick and zoom things out just a tad. So this is what the model shows as of this time, what it should be. And it has the leading edge of the atmospheric river somewhere over northern Vancouver Island, which so far appears to be the case, according to visible satellite. And then as we go through tonight, that will begin to slide east. Northern Vancouver Island begins to get rain starting at around 8 p.m., maybe 7 at the earliest tonight. And then by the time we get to about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning or so, the rain finally reaches Cape Flattery and the surrounding area. Then it'll start to stall, but then eventually the Bellingham area and San Juan Islands and vicinity will begin getting some steady rain by 5 p.m. tomorrow. And then the rain in that area begins to pick up a bit more, and we start to get scattered showers and steady rain around the Puget Sound area, including Tacoma and surrounding areas. But right now, it doesn't look like much of us are going to be under the gun for the heaviest of precip. Right now, the high-resolution models have the moisture axis a bit farther north than what the European's showing. We can show what the European shows here, the most recent 18Z run. Again, the European has the rainfall starting sometime around 4 and 7 a.m. tomorrow, which lines up with the RRFS. Aren't these more frequent in fall and such? In such is describing a very warm winter. Atmospheric rivers can and do happen during the winter time. They can even happen during the springtime as well, and very seldom, but on occasion during the summers. We actually had a very weak atmospheric river impact us towards the end of last summer, if you guys remember that. But yeah, you don't see these setups all the time during January. That's for sure. That I will agree with you on that. With well above average temperatures and precipitation anomalies, it's something you usually don't see this time of the year. Yeah, usually this is more of a fall style setup. However, again, not unheard of during this time of the year. The European spreads the rain down into southwest Washington too, but right now the high resolution imagery keeps a bulk of the rain north and west of Tacoma realistically, and north of Olympia. But the European, which usually again is the more reliable model, spreads much of the precipitation to a majority of western Washington. This is throughout the morning time Monday and nighttime on Sunday. And only then does it begin to back out of here. And then after that, we watch out for our friend, the Mega Ridge. Just received our t-shirts from your store. Very nice and good quality. Thank you for ordering. I was actually unaware that you made a purchase. But yeah, if you feel like it, go ahead and send me some photos of you guys wearing the shirts. Yeah, I'm hoping everything turns out good. I've had a few sales, and the customers have only come back with positive feedback on them so far. So appreciate you for buying from the Stormwatch store. Though we are going into a dry pattern for January, the drought in our area must be over. I've like 90% over, yes. I don't actually believe any of Western Washington's in a drought anymore. There's some abnormally dry areas. Let me go and check the drought monitor again one more time. Hang on, just a moment. Deep Valid, okay. Actually, it's even better than I thought. Bear with me, guys. I've been getting over some sort of throat cold this last week, and it's kind of kept me under the weather, quite literally. So I haven't been performing to 100% of what I could be performing to, like back in December. So yeah, actually, the monitor looks amazing this time of the year. There's only a few areas of Western Washington that are abnormally dry, but most of the drought. And actually, by definition, yes, all of the drought was removed from Western Washington. Again, only a few abnormally dry areas in the mountains, but for the lowlands, the drought is gone. Hallelujah, the drought is finally over. Hey there, maybe Dabu. Hello. Welcome back in. Yeah, if we go into the 12Z European, the 12Z European shows this ridge hanging around, but it does show it beginning to retrograde sometime on the day. It looks like Tuesday the 20th. But again, Fantasyland here. And a few close calls likely with some stronger systems as we go into the last quarter or so of January. So again, something we'll keep an eye on during the long range. And let's go look at some ensemble forecasts real quick. Go back to the 12Z and let's look at some heights. Again, here's that ridge starting to amplify over the region, but it's not far east. It's not far west enough, pardon me. It's not far west. Stormy says, it's going around. We're sick with it as well. I'm very sorry to hear that. Yeah, I went to go watch Avatar 3 with my stepdad last Friday, and I noticed a couple of days later I started getting this irritable feeling in my throat that wasn't going away with drinking water, and that's when I knew, oh boy, something's up. And it really became noticeable Monday afternoon, and I think it peaked sometime around Tuesday. 2 days ago, I think now. No, that's 3 days ago. Never mind. So Tuesday and the Wednesday, I started to feel it get a bit scratchier, and so that last stream, I was sucking on cough drops pretty much the entire time, just kind of get me by. Hey there, Chad Limestall, welcome in. Yeah, and so I did all of that to kind of just get me by, and it worked. And I started feeling some improvement yesterday, and I feel much more improved today. I'm still just kind of beat. My immune system's been working overdrive. And outside of cough drops, I haven't taken any medicine. I've been fighting it naturally. You know, if I don't absolutely have to take medication to relieve any cold symptoms, then I won't. That's just a little peeve of mine, I suppose. I can't really think of a better word right now to describe that. Roland says, very interested to see if above normal temps hold through February, which could indicate record warmth winter. Yeah, our meteorological fall, which was from September 1st to November 30th, was the warmest of all time. And the same in, I believe, 13 states. That's what Michael Snyder was talking about. Hope you get better soon. Yeah, I'm going to shoot towards getting my my life back together tomorrow, just in time for the NFL playoffs. So I'm hoping I'll wake up and things feel good as new then. So yeah, this is a big ridge signature. This is 31 decameters above normal heights at 18,000 feet. Thank you, Ken Moffat, for your generous donation of 500 stars. Appreciate that. Again, we're looking at the 15 days here, and this has the ridge fully amplified over our area sometime going Tuesday into Wednesday. And then it begins to shift off to the west, but this isn't going to have any major implications, any major differences compared to a ridge slightly off to our east. A ridge this strong is going to block any incoming weather almost entirely during the time that it sticks around. But then it really starts to retrograde going into the 18th. And this is when we allow our storm track to likely re-engage itself. And then we have slightly below normal heights at 500 millibars, which is about 18,000 feet. And then this introduces the trough, and then we could be talking some chances for some Arctic air intrusion. However, the probabilities for that right now are pretty low. It's not a super great signal. It's cooler than average with lower than average heights, yes. But it's not a great signal, at least on the European ensembles. You look at the AI forecast system ensembles, and there's not much of a change with it. So the AI version of the European agrees with its traditional counterpart, for the most part. And it has what some people are dubbing the Ridgezilla off to our northwest, which would block the jet stream, move the jet stream way up to our north, and not allow any weather systems into the area. What would likely result of this? Warmer than average temperatures for most areas, although with a strong stout inversion likely and some moisture in the ground, lots of groundwater from this incoming system. We'll definitely have some foggy mornings and some foggy nights for sure. That's going to be almost a guarantee with this system coming up. Lots of fog and freezing the lower your elevation is. Like the colder you're going to be at lower elevations with that, again, that stout capping inversion down near the surface. No big chill, Kim says. No big chill. Again, and then let's look at some temperature anomalies, and yeah, it's awful for the mountains. This is at 5,000 feet. Are we expecting strong winds? No. Again, ridges don't bring winds. The troughs bring the winds. These purple and blue features here These are what would bring the wind. This does not. This repels any weather. This adds stability to the weather patterns for an area. And even going out towards the last week of January here, it still has just barely below normal temperatures at 5,000 feet for the mountains, which, again, you don't want to see. You want to see well below normal temperatures, realistically. It's just, it looks awful. Absolutely awful for the mountains after this atmospheric river. Is we're going to be getting the Pineapple Express, which brings warmer temperatures, plus this ridge right afterwards, which is going to bring even warmer temperatures. The snow level is going to be hanging around 8,000 feet last time I checked, so there's a good chance that anything below 8,000 feet melts off most of the way, if not completely. So glad you're on the mend. Yeah, I've been seeing some people, develop influenza A, and I think there was something else called the adeno or the adenovirus as well that was going around. And I was hoping I wouldn't have something like that. But I think this entire time I haven't even gone with a fever. Just had that sore throat that wouldn't go away. Hello there, Ashley. Good evening to you. We have a decent cold east wind that started around 4. Always take that as when the storms are coming in and pull, like the way east storms work. Weather Channel has no freezing temps here through the 23rd. Amazing being in the dead of winter. Again, our surface anomalies as well are going to be well above average. Let's go through the 10th and 90th percentiles here. All right, I kind of take that back. So this, again, is a property of the lower level air inversion. And near the surface, it's going to be pretty cold. But above, at pass level and higher in the mountains, it's going to be well above average when it comes to temperatures. But actually, our temperatures, for the most part, our average temperatures are going to hang around average, if not a little bit below average after the Pineapple Express moves through. There's sometimes we're going to be above average from time to time with that ridge over us, but those are likely going to be areas, again, exposed to the easterly winds. I'm not seeing any major indications of east winds coming up, like any big east wind events, which normally you need a pretty decent surface trough to initiate a vacuum effect through the mountains from east to west and have higher pressure to the east. But the higher pressure for the majority of it is going to be off to the west. Will we get wind this week? Again, I'm not seeing any indications for wind right now, which is good news. Really good news. I know a lot of people that just either don't want to or can't take the thought of wind coming up anytime soon, which is completely understandable. Yeah, it looks breezy to blustery Monday morning, potentially Sunday night, but the strong... Excuse me. Sorry about that. Hey, Keith, welcome back in. Got one tree left coming down tomorrow, then the south winds can't hurt me. Awesome sauce. Thank you for following me. Yeah, sure thing. I gave your page a follow on my personal page, and then today I followed it on my main page. And it has the strongest winds over the usual areas, so the northwest interior waters and along the coastline here. And of course, Hurricane Ridge, because why else would it be called Hurricane Ridge? But not much wind through the Strait of Juan de Fuca itself. And then around much of the area, just breezy at best. Some areas may be like up to a moderate breeze, but it just looks like a slight breeze for the most part, with some gusts in the 25 to 35 mile per hour range, which again is nothing super major. And then after that, the wind just backs off almost entirely as this ridge sets up shop. It's going to be like the ones we had in December. No, it's not looking that strong this time around. The flooding concerns are much less. And we also don't have several systems in back-to-back succession either. Like, I think we had 3 atmospheric rivers in a week and a half or less. Like, we pretty much had an atmospheric river every 3 days during that little 2-week period mid-December. That was just unreal. Honestly, absolutely unreal. Wind equals big anxiety. Yeah, I understand that. When will this hit? This will start impacting the area later tomorrow. So we'll be bringing in the rain tomorrow. The rain will just start to begin clipping the coast. This is tomorrow at 7 a.m. Rain is clipping the coast. And then it begins to slide eastward and starts impacting Bellingham and some areas of Seattle as we go into the afternoon time. And then the Pineapple Express really starts to set up shop along the Olympic Peninsula and Northwest Interior. But right now, it looks like it won't stay steadily on the Puget Sound area. It'll stay mostly north and west of the Puget Sound area. But then the European has the Atmospheric River and Pineapple Express really beginning to set up shop as we go into Sunday night and Monday and bring a pretty large plume of moisture over the area for a number of hours. Looks like most of the day, Monday and Sunday night, like just most of Sunday afternoon and Monday morning going into Monday afternoon is going to be quite soggy around the area. And only then does the Pineapple Express begin to pull north and weaken with time. And then this is just a little cold front moving through, but by the looks of it, it looks to fizzle out before it impacts the area, but I can't rule out some showers or some short-term, short-lived rain for some of the northwest areas, like northwest coast and northwest interior, sometime Wednesday morning before that ridge really sets up shop. And then by that time, all the rain and all the wind vanishes. Kathy Duffy, thank you for your donation of 100 stars. Really appreciate that. Will Olympia get a lot of action? There's not going to be much action. If you count steady rain as action, then sure. But a majority of the rain, from what models are showing, is going to stay north and west of Olympia. Let's see. Power outages and property damage are my greatest fear. Agree with you on that. It's so miserable, horrible winter for snow lovers. Don't think it could get worse than last winter, so no cold or any chance of Arctic air at all going through the end of January. Well, we can look at the long-range forecast again, the European weeklies, but we only get a very vague idea of what to expect. It looks like we get some improvement in the precipitation department going into the last week of January and the first week of February. But if we convert that over to snowfall, you see we're below average on snowfall for the mountains during this time, but above average for general precipitation, which means likely, again, we'll be having these warmer systems move through that elevate the snow level. Please like, it's free. Yes, like Tanya, aka Misty Bikini says, feel free to like the stream on either Facebook or YouTube if you guys like the coverage so far. Roland says 55 in Seattle on Wednesday. That sounds 100% correct. I wish I was wrong about that, but that sounds like a good guesstimate. Let's look at the NWS blend of models, which goes out to around 10 days or so in the future. And let's go look at, yeah, again, okay, we're on the right setting. 2-meter temperatures. So you notice here, let me zoom in a bit for just Washington in general here. And we're going to take a water break also. Hang on tightly. Keith says, watching your stream of college football, and I completely forgot the CFP was playing. Yeah, so the coffee link is in the lower right corner if you want to search that up. But to make it easier for you too, oh, thank you, Valerie Donovan Denny, for your donation of 100 stars. Really generous of you. But yeah, here's the link to my coffee page. Again, I'll post this in the YouTube and Facebook comments as well. But in case you guys don't ever see this link posted, it is now in the lower right corner of the stream too. The little animation down by the YouTube view counter in the bottom of the screen that shows the coffee link for future reference. Yeah, that's the best way to donate right now. If you have the option to, please do, but no pressure whatsoever. Promise you, no pressure. Things are looking kind of grim going into February. You know, we had a really strong December, like a historically strong December in the finances department, so I'm not worried about that. But right now we're having a really slow start to January and not making a lot. So yeah, if you could donate, please do. But again, no pressure at all. If you want to see the Puget Sound Stormwatch streams and posts continue at full-time status, that would be the best way to help out, ideally. Yeah, temperatures on the NBM, the National Blend of Models. This is at 4 p.m. on Monday when we're on the tail end of that Pineapple Express. You see temperatures are in the lower to mid 50. Ooh, excuse me. I got some air coming up. So whenever I sit down and do these streams, I always get the hiccups and I always get air coming back up. I don't know if it's just my posture or what. Yeah, we get close to 50 tomorrow around the area. We're in the upper 40s, and some areas could be in the lower 50s as well. Is the NAM model officially gone? No, it's still here. The NAM model is still hanging around with us. But I just don't have any need really to show anything from the NAM model right now. So Saturday we get close to 50, and then same. Yeah, after hour 36, it starts skipping to every 6 hours. I think, is that a notification that I just got? Saw a notification. Okay. Valerie Donovan Denny, thank you for becoming a follower on Ko-fi.com. On Ko-fi.com. Appreciate that. Yeah, so like I said, then we start skipping to 6 hour intervals here. And again, Monday afternoon, above 50 around the area. And then we're going to be really mild going into the morning times as well. See, 4 a.m. Tuesday, we're still in the 50s. And then at 10 a.m., oh man. And then 4 p.m. Tuesday. So don't be surprised. Oh, thank you, Ashley, for your donation. You really didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. 8 coffees. Wow, Ashley, I'm beyond taken away by your generosity. Thank you so much. Truly, truly. Bremerton, yeah, it's going to be toasty for you too. I wouldn't be surprised if, for the first time this year, some areas, especially farther away from the water, get up to 60 degrees on Tuesday. This says 58 degrees north of North Bend here. And over the water, it's still going to be pretty mild in the mid 50s, but when we turn the flow offshore along the mountains, anywhere directly downstream of the mountain gaps like North Bend, Enumclaw, Maple Valley, Hobart, Gold Bar, for example, could get up to the upper 50s or even the low 60s if I wouldn't even consider us being lucky. You know, it's too warm. It's way too warm for this time of the year. But then we become a bit more seasonal as we go into next weekend. But still, it looks like the temperatures are going to be a bit above average during that time. Very warm and dry spring. Fall, have you considered changing your channel name from Stormwatch to encompass different dynamics? I have not. Puget Sound Stormwatch is going to stay exactly as it sounds. So our primary coverage is going to be during storm events, but I do still do the daily content, and we just, it's a name that's stuck around. In February, it'll be 13 years of doing this under the same name, and I have no intentions personally of changing it. I just think it fits so well, and it runs off your tongue pretty smoothly. Puget Sound Stormwatch just sounds natural. Wanted to, you've done so much to cover the weather, let alone how much calmer I am about the wind when I know you're going to cover it. Ashley says she wishes she could do more. It's perfectly okay. That was more than enough. Again, appreciate the generosity so much. So the European goes in 3-hour increments for the next 6 days here on the 18Z run. Does it agree with the national blend of models? Let's see. So it has us warming up to the lower to mid 50s around much of the Puget Sound area on Monday. And then, see, look at how toasty it gets Tuesday. This is Tuesday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it actually is expected to cool down as we go into the afternoon instead of heat up. So right now, on the current European imagery between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Tuesday, it does show some areas getting up to or even above 60 degrees, which is just not what you want to see. And up at the passes here in the 50s, are you kidding me right now? You gotta be kidding me with that. As Reed Timmer, the storm chaser, would say, you gotta be kidding me. Check wind direction too. I believe this is offshore. It's a little bit hard to distinguish the wind direction, but it does look like the wind's coming out of the east. The barbs are pointing more out of the southeast towards the northwest. So yeah, it does look like wind is going to be offshore during this time. So the offshore compressional heating is likely going to warm most of us up in the foothills into the 60s. Or at the very least, the upper 50s, possibly the low 60s. Hey, Brady G, welcome in. And let's zoom out and check heights during this time too. Again, geez, look at this. The Oregon Cascades are worse. Oregon Cascades could be up in the upper 60s during this time. And then again, remember, this is only 2 meters above ground level. So the ground level goes up with the mountains. So this is 2 meters above the top of the mountains. See, look, 70 degrees near the Siskiyous down here. It's just unbelievable. There's your reason. A huge ridge setting up directly over western Washington and northwestern Oregon. Really starts to amplify as we go into the afternoon time on Monday, and then by Tuesday morning, the ridge is at full strength around the area. This is definitely going to produce some compressional downslope heating off the mountains. So that's most likely why it's picking up some 60s directly west of the mountain ranges here. Either directly along the mountain ranges or just west of the mountain ranges, mainly in the foothills. Just a really, really unfortunate signal. And you look at the temperatures at 5,000 feet. And these are anomalies, so these are not exact temperatures, but 14 degrees Celsius over the Oregon Cascades. It's around 25 degrees Fahrenheit above average for this time of year. And we warm up even more after that, going into early Wednesday morning too, where some of the Washington Cascades could be upwards of 27 degrees Fahrenheit above average for this time of the year. Just terrible, I tell you. Just absolutely terrible. I think I'm going to fire up a TikTok live stream too, because trying to unlock more live features here on TikTok, and I have to do 3 live streams in 1 week, I think, to unlock that. So we're gonna fire up the live here on TikTok real soon. We're gonna experiment with that a little bit. Sorry guys, I'm not as focused as I usually am. Again, my immune system's still working actively to get this bug out of my system. So I'm just not 100% of the way there right now. And I didn't send out stream announcements either because I didn't know for sure if I was going to be doing this stream today. I literally I waited until like 5 minutes before 5 o'clock to fire up the stream, and the stream as a result was a few minutes late to start. I really wasn't feeling it, but I made a promise to someone. Like I told someone that I would stream today, and I could not go back on my word. So I'm sticking with my word and going live today for you guys. Excuse me. Yeah, I noticed too. I have some white balance issues on my camera here. My white balance is way too warm. Might wanna play around with that a little bit. Do I have a way to change white balance? Color correction. This is something I noticed after looking at TikTok. I noticed my white balance is automatic on the phone, but it's fixed here on the screen, and it's these small little details that always get under my skin. I swear it's these small little details like my camera white balance being off. Hey Brian Rock Rail fan, welcome in. Appreciate your dedication. Yeah. Of course. Try my best to be here for you guys at all times. What is the best model for accuracy for the long range forecasts? I'm gonna have to say the Euro. The Euro pretty much beats the brakes off of every other model. But it seems like the Euro AI forecast system, the AIFS, is quickly gaining steam as the more reliable long range model. At least that's what Michael Snyder's been saying. If you guys watch Pacific Northwest Weather Watch, he says that the AIFS is quickly becoming the most reliable model for the medium and longer range. I don't think there's going to be an easy way to do this. No, there's not. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. Yeah, I'll fix it some other day. I gotta play around with the white balance on my camera. It's a little too cool. Too many models for Hurricane Spaghetti visual. Good game tonight. Yeah, tonight's Indiana and Oregon, right? Personally, I hope Indiana beats the living brakes off of Oregon. As a UW fan myself. Yeah, let's see the AIFS, the deterministic version of that. Again, it agrees pretty well with what the Euro is showing, but it brings the strongest of the ridge east of the mountains instead of west. See, and then it really amplifies this humongous ridge feature over the Gulf of Alaska. That's just really going to repel our weather systems for a number of days. Only when it starts to retrograde off to the east like that is it going to allow the jet stream and additional weather systems into the area. Like, so we've got this little upper level trough that likely clips us sometime on Wednesday the 21st, so in about 2 weeks from now. And then, oh, what's this? I didn't see this on the 12Z Euro. This is the 18Z AI forecast system, and we may have just gotten a breath of fresh air. I like that signal. I really, really like that signal. If we can get this to verify, ooh. Oh, this is an update. See, is the Euro AI forecast system on to something? The new 18Z run brings some Arctic air pretty close to our area. It at least brings lower heights and cooler temperatures. Right now, it looks like it keeps the coolest of the air east of the Rockies at the moment. But you want this to be a few hundred miles more to the west and just north of our area. Then you get that Fraser River outflow. You turn that on, and boom, you have an Arctic blast. But a much better signal coming from the Euro AIFS, the 10 a.m. run of this one. Let's just compare between the 12Z and the 18Z. See, it's much different. Actually, it completely flips the ridge here. Look, it goes from ridge in the 18Z to deep trough in the 12Z. So the 12Z and the 18Z are polar opposites. That just tells you that the confidence is low right now with the AIFS. But you want a good signal for some cooler air, definitely go with the 18Z AIFS. Indiana is winning. Awesome. Willow, welcome in. Only knock I have on Michael is he cheerleads for extreme weather too much that is damaging the most people. Yeah, it's part of that hype train, and you know I definitely understand where you're coming from. I do agree to I agree to a degree. How did I just realize I have a bottom and a top zipper on this sweatshirt? Interesting. Haven't even gone live on TikTok yet. Let's see, after this, I should be enabled for things such as inviting guests if I wanted to, which right now I'm not going to, and in-stream rewards also. So hopefully that allows me to become part of the creator program. Therefore, I can receive monetary rewards on TikTok too. And that would really, pardon me, that would really help going into the slow season. Because right now, for finances, we're not doing too well. Going into February, it looks pretty bleak right now. I'm going to name this live, call it let's talk Pineapple Express. And I'm literally going to put an emoji of a pineapple after that. Just my sheer nuttiness. Alright, so... just wish there were some more features for the AIFS. Still seems to be a little bit in the experimental stage, but you know, they don't have access to features like looking at a lot of surface parameters, such as surface precip and type, and mean sea level pressure. Like, I know you can see mean sea level pressure as well as wind barbs as well. That is second tip. Well, Ashley, thank you again for the donation of another coffee. So, 9 coffees total donated by Ashley Getz this afternoon. Thank you so much. Trust me, you really didn't have to do all of that. But again, appreciate the generosity a lot. I'm actually kind of amazed how much of this moisture undercuts the ridge. Because you see, by this time, the beginning of the Pineapple Express is directly on us. But if we go back and look at the upper air map here at the heights, we still have some ridging over it, but just enough of a ripple here in the ridge. You see, there's a little bit of a shortwave distortion here in the upper level flow. It kind of looks like a frontal system. It brings just enough of a ripple in the upper level ridging. Since this isn't a strong upper level ridge, it's just enough to allow the Pineapple Express to move into the area. But not super far into the area, just along really the northwest portions. It's going to ride along again between the upper level troughing up here and the upper level ridging down to its south. But the majority of the jet stream during this time appears to stay up in northern Vancouver Island in the Haida Gwaii region. Oregon quarterback got sacked twice already. Sweet. Oh, that one is from my mom for making me less neurotic about wind. Okay, well, thank you very much, Ashley's mom, for the generous donation. The Longtail Liesel says, Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Oregon had 2 total turnovers so far in the first half. I think Indiana's going to win it all, personally. I think Indiana's going to take home the prize. And my grandma, who's getting old and frail on my dad's side, she's from Indiana. And she's all about all the Indiana teams. You know, she likes the Seahawks too, but she always talks about the Pacers, the Colts, and the talks about the IU as well. IU, Indiana University. Roland's wife is from Cincy. Yeah, I'm born and raised here in Washington, particularly the Federal Way area. I've lived here my entire life. Like, the only time I've ever sort of moved out, and if you even want to count this, is when I went to go stay with my dad in Arizona for about a month. 3.5 weeks, my dad moved down to Arizona with his side of the family to save up on some money. Yeah, it was an unfortunate move, and You know, I was without my dad being super close to me for a bit over a year, and it definitely it took its toll on me. You know, I started middle school during that time, and I didn't have my dad around, and it just made things really difficult as a little 11-year-old naive kid, you know? But then my dad and my family moved back. I think it was February of the next year, so 2012. I believe it was February of next year they moved back, and my dad's lived here in Washington ever since. And so we went on a road trip. I think it was the last day of July 2010, and we stayed on the road for 3 days, I believe, driving from Washington down to Tucson, Arizona, where my grandma was staying at the time, where they all lived. That's where most of my family who was in Arizona at the time lived. And I was there from, yeah, I think I was there from August 2nd to the 26th, I believe, roughly. It was either the 1st through the 25th or the 2nd through the 26th. Can't remember exactly when I flew back, but I think I flew back on the 25th of August. But I technically lived down in Arizona for about 3.5 weeks. But that was it. If you wanted to say it was a long vacation, sure. But yeah, that was that. My wife's uncle is a professor at IU. Oh, awesome. Have you looked, hey, Real Puck, good evening. Have you looked into long-range models for a cooler solution? Yeah, and right now, only the AI forecast system shows a cooler solution, but it's extremely inconsistent. But let's go back to the 12Z, and I want to look again to see if it was agreeing. Yeah, see, the 12Z Euro is completely different than the 18Z AIFS. Now I'll show you guys what I mean right here. But hang on, I want to get started on my TikTok live real quick. I've been so distracted that I still haven't even fired up the live stream. Let's try this thing out to unlock some more stream permissions. All right, hey there everyone, Anthony here, Puget Sound Stormwatch, welcome in. I don't know if you have full playback on the stream from the past, but I'm just doing this right now just in case there is playback, in case any of you guys viewing right now want to go back and look through the stream's history. But we're currently looking at conditions relating to an upcoming Pineapple Express. Invite you shared. Oh, really? Well, this is brand new. Hey, yeah. I'm noticing a lot of new features ever since I started this live stream. I didn't have access to any of this before. This is brand new to me. Again, trying out some new features here, but it looks like a couple of people are hopping in. Someone joined through the invite you shared. Interesting. Does it auto share invites on TikTok? Anyone who does live stream on TikToks or live streaming on TikToks frequently, does it automatically send invites after a while? Hey there, Winston. How are you doing, sir? Right now we're just talking all things weather up here. Let me show you what I mean. So we're currently looking at some weather maps here. I want to go to the 18Z European AI forecast system. We're looking at this ridge that's forming over the area. That's the orange and red colors here. But you notice we still have the jet stream over the north end of our area. Oh, I see why it's asking me to invite people as guests, because it unlocked the guest sharing and having additional people on your stream now. Because this is my 3rd live stream, and after 3 live streams, you unlock more of these features. So, yeah, so right now we're looking at this upper level ridge that eventually forms over the area after that Pineapple Express comes through. But in the meantime, Pineapple Express, again, is an area of subtropical moisture that taps into the Hawaiian subtropics and is carried across the Pacific, generally into the Pacific Northwest. Oh, you got an invitation. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I currently don't have permission set to invite anyone else into the stream, but I believe if you're a follower, it might have sent the invitation. And it has the co-host feature as well. But for right now, I'm not going to do that. Just to sort of preserve the continuity of the stream, I suppose. And just to keep things running smooth. But yeah, again, we have this upper level jet stream extending over the area, and the Pineapple Express is expected to impact us pretty much head on, with extra emphasis here on the northwest areas of the region, such as the northwest coast and the northwest interior, including the Bellingham area. Quake Report liked the live. Awesome. Thank you everyone for liking. So then that Pineapple Express comes through, and then that ridge sets up shop, and just look at how amplified that ridge gets over our area. It's stupid how strong that ridging gets. This is definitely going to repel all of the weather systems off to the north and west of the area. Like, see, the troughs are all the way up here in the Gulf of Alaska. Pardon me. And then that ridge begins to push off to the north and west, but this is still going to be a blocking pattern for us. All the weather systems are either going to go to the south or way to the north. Like, this pushes the jet stream all the way into literally northern Alaska. So that's our main weather maker, is the jet stream, and that's way up north of the area. But then we get some relief as this ridge retrogrades back to the north, going into the last third of the month or so. And then this is the best signal so far for any cold snap here, and that is looking out to hour 360 here. So this is the morning of January 24th right now, and that is a pretty decent deep upper level trough just off of northern Vancouver Island, sliding down south and east across the area. This would be great for mountain snowpack and maybe even getting some colder air down towards the surface for potentially some snow if we can get a weather system in the right spot. But again, it seems very conditional at the confidence is low because not all of the models agree with this. It's really just the AIFS right now. But I do want to see the GFS and what the 18Z GFS has to show. And see, it's a polar opposite solution there. Actually, the GFS, I think, is agreeing with what the 12Z Euro was saying. But let's go with the 12Z GFS at hour 360. And then let's compare that to the... hour 360. There we go. Hour 360. And then let's compare that to the 12Z. Geez, sorry guys. Still have air coming up. Let's compare that to the 12Z ECMWF here. And it's quite a bit different, but it still has a nice ridge in the area. So it appears that the AI forecast system is kind of an outlier at the moment. Just something, again, we'll have to keep tabs on as time goes on. Let's go look at comments again. Okay. So is this true? A Pineapple Express is just a bunch of moisture coming from the Pacific. Yeah, a Pineapple Express is an atmospheric river, but not all atmospheric rivers are Pineapple Expresses. It depends on the area of origin. So an atmospheric river is defined as an integrated water vapor transport system, or IVTS. Again, that's integrated vapor transport system, or integrated water vapor transport system, the IVTS. And if I go and pull up the AR scale site from the University of California, San Diego, it actually shows some of our areas potentially getting up to a Category 4 atmospheric river coming up, depending on your model of choice. Let me show this to you guys as well on TikTok real quick. Again, this site, this is the University of California, San Diego. And this is the future 7-day forecast. We're looking at the American model right now, the GEFS. This shows Category 3 conditions along the Washington coast. Then the ensemble also shows the same. So at least Category 3 on the American, but if we go to the European mean forecast here, it has Category 3, but then if you go to the control, We're up to category 4. Now, this has actually changed since my last update that I posted on Facebook. It actually downgraded parts of the coast to category 3. There's still one area here along the central coast. Oops, sorry about that. That orange dot right there. That indicates potential category 4 atmospheric river conditions over the next 7 days. Let's play around with the map here a bit. Okay, a bit too far south. A bit too far north. I gotta play around with my coordinates here real quick. I need to go farther south. One more farther south. Okay, I think that's the one I want. Then European, and then yeah. This is the one single category 4 solution right here. What? I just picked my patio up for the 6th time in last month. Yeah, again, we're not looking at any big wind forecasts here. This isn't going to be a wind forecast whatsoever. This is more so precipitation. Precipitation and warm air. So this is showing, let me make sure I get my times right here. 12 Zulu, 12 Z, that is 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So right after 4 a.m. on the 10th, which is tomorrow, make sure I have my calculations right here. Yeah, 4 a.m. tomorrow. And right before 4 a.m. on the 13th, we could experience category 4 atmospheric river conditions along the central coast. Again, that's that orange dot there along the central coast. This is courtesy of the European, which is arguably better than the American by a mile. This is the control forecast. The ensemble mean drops it down to a category 3. Oh gosh, and more flooding. There's a comment. Flooding conditions right now are uncertain. So we'll look at the flooding forecast here very shortly too. Need to load that site up here very fast. Yeah, again, no huge wind forecast with this. We're just looking at breezy conditions around the area. The strongest wind again is going to be along the coast and in the northwest waters. So Salish Sea, Admiralty Inlet area. At least it's not king tides. Yes, no king tides this time around to worry about. Let's pull up the flood website again. Didn't think I'd have to look at this again anytime soon, but here we are. Most of the system is expected to go into Canada, as far as I can see. Yes, we'll be getting clipped on the southeastern part of it. Again, the Skokomish is expecting moderate flooding. So again, if you know anyone along the Skokomish near Potlatch, which literally floods when you get a couple of raindrops, like that's how sensitive it is. It says up to moderate flooding by 4 p.m. on Monday. And they've already put out a hydrologic outlook for Mason County, specifically for the Skokomish River near Potlatch. Keek said do a flip. No, I'm good on that. I'm too out of shape for that. Winston says, thanks for what you do. Thank you for the kind words. Usually I expect, I held off on TikTok for one main reason, and that was due to the toxicity on the site. But so far, been welcomed with open arms, and that's really, really good to see. Yeah, maybe when I get myself back into shape. We'll see. Further south by SeaTac Airport on the water over there. Yeah, I'm in Milton, so I'm a bit south of you up on the hill. Between Federal Way, Tacoma, and Puyallup. That's exactly where I'm at. Maybe a cartwheel. No, I'm not a gymnastics dude whatsoever. One thing I noticed though is the Bogus Shield near La Push was forecasting minor flooding earlier. It's now down to bankful stage, which is good. So they dropped that forecast quite a bit. Yes, definitely know that area. One thing I noticed too is we have a lot more viewers this time around ever since I unlocked the additional features here on TikTok. Noticed a lot more viewers coming in. So I must have been in some sort of viewer jail those first 2 live streams. But after my 3rd live stream, I've noticed a lot more. I have a lot more capabilities now than I did before. Which is pretty interesting. There's a lot I have to learn on here. What do you like more, beach vacation or cabin in the woods? I haven't really been on a beach vacation much. I've more so, like, my grandparents have always been in the cabins. And so I've literally been staying in cabins since I was probably 7 years old. More so tucked away in the woods, but I've been to a couple of beach cabins too. Like along Rockaway Beach as a little kid, and then near the Dungeness Spit. The rest of the cabins have been buried in the woods. It is a region of upper level flow that transports large amounts of moisture. Yes, Keith has the meteorological definition on YouTube here. Typically from the tropics and subtropics into the mid-latitudes is the definition of an atmospheric river. That is true. I'm a weather junkie. Just add some smooth jazz on the 8s and I'm happy. Hey, my kind of guy right there. I respect that. Indiana's up 35-7 at the half. Wowza. Good. I despise Oregon. Blowout. Yep. Doppler Dave says, I never get alerts when you go live. You're not the only one that has said that. For those of you guys on TikTok, again, if you guys want the full experience, I forgot to mention this when I first started. If you guys want the full experience, head over to Puget Sound Stormwatch on YouTube and Facebook, where I show all the screens and everything live. Now, I noticed a few more of these forecasts changing from the green boxes to the yellow boxes. And let me show you guys here on TikTok too what I mean. Hang tight. There we go. So this red box here, that is the Skokomish River, expected to hit moderate flood stage by Monday afternoon. The yellow boxes are bank full stage, but this does not mean flooding. Oh, and it looks like Michael Campbell on Patreon, who was a trial member, has just continued with his monthly subscription. So thank you, Michael Campbell, if you're watching right now, for becoming a patron and a supporter. So all of the yellow boxes here, the yellow boxes are bank full stage. This does not mean flooding. It just means the river will likely run high and up to its banks, but not over its banks. Some rivers included in this include the Bogoshiel near La Push, the Skookumchuck Reservoir. We have the Snoqualmie near Carnation, the Tolt River upstream of Carnation, Skykomish near Gold Bar, the Snohomish near Snohomish and Monroe. Got a flash goal. Hang on. What is this? All right, well, let's try this, I suppose. Guess we started a new goal, so we can have 3 gifters in the next 15 minutes. That would be sweet sauce. You guys want to see more live streams like this? And then it was just these 5 rivers I saw before, but now it looks like they put the Skagit and the Nooksack in a bank full stage in their forecast also. A little bit of a concern for some areas up here. So it looks like around Tuesday, 4 a.m., we'll hit bank full stage, but see, we're not quite close to minor flood stage. So good news for the Skagit River, which up there, you know, in December, they never really caught a break. A little bit later in the day on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Tuesday, again, expected to hit above 26 feet. Is bank full stage, but not flooding. But right now, no concerns for the green or white rivers or the Puyallup, which is great for a lot of these higher population areas here. At least so far. And this is destined to change. Almost certain it's going to change as the forecasts become much more up. As the high resolution forecasts begin to get in closer range, those are likely going to update. Thank you, Doppler Dave, for your $10 super chat. The super duper. Doppler Dave has been beyond generous, donating super chats and gifting memberships here on YouTube. So thank you so much for that. And quite a few of your memberships, your gifted memberships, are about to expire. So if you guys want to renew that, feel free, but again, no pressure. Now that I'm starting to recover from this little cold or whatever that I had, I'm starting to get my voice back in full sync, like full tune. And so I actually feel like I want to talk and do these briefings now and not just kind of drag it on, you know? I feel like for the first time in like 5 days, I don't have the need to pop a cough drop while I'm talking. Which is good news. And eventually, I want to fire up the members only videos. Right now, I have the members only reels warning of when I go live on YouTube. But I didn't do that today. Again, this live was really just to follow up with somebody who I told I was going to go live at around 5 o'clock. So I had to follow through with that promise. And then there's Doppler Dave sending 5 more gifted. Thank you so much. May get more viewers after dinner time is over. Do people sit down with family to eat dinner anymore? I know who would have thought that would have been a thing of the past, honestly. That's just crazy. But usually when I go over to my dad's house on Sundays to watch football, we don't always have dinner together like at a table, but we do usually have dinner together in the living room while we're watching Sunday night football usually. Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Need to set my membership up tonight. Well, oh yeah, because you're on one of the gifteds, right? Yeah. Everyone, W in the chat for Doppler Dave 211 for gifting those 5 memberships. So yeah, that's the river flood forecast, the atmospheric river forecast. Again, only one of the models right now shows category 4. The rest of them are pretty much honed in on category 3 conditions for the Washington coast. Hey everyone, welcome in on TikTok. It's our 3rd live stream, and that means we have unlocked more features. And I have a gift goal right now to hopefully get 3 gifts in the next 10 minutes. But so far, we have not achieved a single one, which again, I'm not too worried about it. But if you guys want to help out the algorithm and spread the word of Puget Sound Stormwatch, that would be one of the best ways to do it. All donations are welcome, but are not required. Yeah, we'll probably get some more viewers later on. I'm not sure, again, how long I want to stay live with this, but it's really just going to depend on how I feel. And let's go, let's see, no winds. Yeah. No, like just a light breeze in some areas, but a lot of areas you can't even feel the wind. That's how stagnant it is right now. And of course, everyone left on TikTok. They got tired of me. Go figure. But again, the average attention span on TikTok is probably a few seconds or so. Am I right? Totally spaced that I'm on a gifted instead of paid. Yeah, if it does lapse, again, no concern. No concern at all if it does lapse. And hey, I just saw you joined here on TikTok. Hello, welcome in. Yeah, just trying to help out the algorithm. It's it's a little bit of a different view compared to what you're seeing on my YouTube and Facebook Live. But again, if you're viewing on TikTok right now and want to see the full experience, the best way again is on Facebook and YouTube. 100%. It is a whole different experience. Eventually, I do want to get it set up so that I live stream from the computer to here as well. And again, Ashley, you're spoiling me. Thank you for sending a donut. Ashley on TikTok. But trust me, you don't have to send any more than that. I promise. You don't. This. And I'm just messing around with some features on here, so not going to be super eventful. Go check some of the watching Kansas Snow Chaser on YouTube right now, but I'll change it to you guys. Sweet. Awesome. Well, welcome to the team. Ooh, January 7th, 4 o'clock. Just saw on the IEM bot, there was a report of a funnel cloud off the coast of Cannon Beach. I believe that was during that special marine warning. Someone actually did report a funnel cloud. Interesting. Had some coins sitting around. All right, well, perfect. Thank you for your generosity. Left, close. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Okay, there we go. All right, we're back. Perfect. Water break. All right, where were we? It says I seen that. All right, what were we looking at before? Oh, yeah, we were going to look at the GFS. I think we were going to look at the GFS. 18Z GFS just has this monster ridge directly over Alaska. This is what we call the snow melter up here. Any snow that's in Alaska is likely going to be gone after this. Let me show you guys what I mean here real quick. See that white mass right up over Alaska? That is a huge upper level ridge. Just massive. It's literally, go to the legend here, it's off the charts. That's how strong that upper level ridge is. This is going to repel the weather around Alaska and shove the jet stream all the way up towards the North Pole, basically. And up and back out and around over the area through the Rockies in eastern Washington and then back around the United States here. And Ashley sent an air dancer. Thank you for your gift. It's got a lot of random notifications, just random people to join as guests, including Barstool Sports. That's pretty funny. And Doppler Dave just sent 5 more gifted. Thank you, Doppler Dave. Yeah, the GFS is just on steroids, I swear. But yeah, the GFS agrees in the short term with that ridge forming directly over the Pacific Northwest as we go into midweek this next week. And then the GFS brings a little weak shortwave through on Wednesday night. There we go. Used all the coins I had sitting there. Oh, well, trust me, Ashley, you didn't have to do that, but thank you for your generosity nonetheless. Yeah, then we have that ridge begin to retrograde west and amplify. Ooh. New tip from Sonia Marco. Thank you, Sonia Marco, for your donation of a coffee. He says new tip from someone. Hey. And then that ridge starts to die out, and then we may swing that system through. We'll definitely have to watch sometime around the 19th or the 20th for a system to swing out of Canada. But this ridge could be very stubborn, and it could shove this jet stream just a bit too far east of our area to really introduce any significant snow threat. Now, I'm not talking any snow threat. I'm talking about lower elevation snow, which is very hard to come by right now. In general, I don't think it's going to happen in January, but right now, February is a little bit uncertain. The indications are right now, and let's go check the weeklies here. Yeah, let's keep it on height. Current indications are that we're going to stay right above average or right around average going into February. So we're in range of, geez. What is going on? Hey man, the coins were just kind of sitting there collecting dust. I don't really use TikTok much. Rather, they went to good use than just sitting there. Well, thank you for the kind words, Ashley. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, right now, the current long-range forecast doesn't look great for February either. February looks a bit toasty. Let's go to 2 meter temperature anomaly. Yeah, not a good sign for February for any snowpack. Even the mountain snowpack. It's either right at average or just above average, which you do not want. Little bit of relief, but the temperature is literally at 0 degrees. So, like, the temperature anomaly is at 0 degrees. So it's neither above nor below average. It's right at average, which, if you guys know this time of the year, average is pretty mild. It's like just above where you want it to be, realistically. So even if we have slightly below average temperatures, we'd be in better shape than what we're seeing here. Excuse me. A little bit tired again. I'm still kind of fighting off this mystery illness. All right. Hang on, folks. Go check a few other parameters here. See, precip anomalies are okay going into the first week of February. After that, we start to decrease, and then we're right around average or right above average for the mountains. So, and then snowfall rate anomaly is not looking good. Whew, especially the next week. That's terrible. Yeah, literally the entire time we're either at or well above average for snowfall anomalies. No, below average, pardon me, below average. We're either at or below average for snowfall anomalies for the Cascades and the Olympics. Really, all of the higher elevations in general. Keith says, tonight I will be writing a blog on thunder and lightning. Sounds good, Keith. I follow you on the main page now, so I'll make sure to share one of your posts one of these days. Especially if it relates to current events, what's going on right now in Pacific Northwest weather. Yeah, let's go look at 5,000 foot temperature anomaly, and it's, oh man. It's just awful. We're either way above average or we're teetering on average, leaning a little bit below, but not nowhere near enough below average to really constitute any major snowfall risk going into February. It looks like right now February's going to be a little bit questionable when it comes to our mountain snowpack. And don't even get me started on any lowland snow concerns because it looks terrible going into the next month. Doppler Dave's asking, how do I read your blogs? Well, Keith, feel free to take it away. You know, go ahead and link your blog down in the YouTube comments section. All right, folks. Yeah, the goal ended. We didn't get the heart gifts, but we did get a couple of gifts from Ashley, so that was really helpful. Thank you so much for that. Go check a few analytics here. Rewards tips. Surpass your highest league ever this week. I wonder what that means. Then get one more follower during this live. Okay, so we need someone to follow during this live. Unfortunately, there's no one watching the live right now. They've all tuned out. Yeah, K-Dog Weather on Facebook. Love that you allow other creators to rep their brand on here. That's super cool of you. Yeah, of course, especially the smaller creators. Like Keith, who's just starting out his blog. I want his blog to grow. He posts really valuable information that is extremely, again, valuable to the Pacific Northwest and all around the country. So his blog definitely deserves to shine. What gifts? Oh, yeah, I'm just talking about TikTok gifts right now. I'm doing a separate proprietary TikTok live stream on my phone. off on the side here. So if you see me looking off to the corner here and talking, that's who I'm talking to. Was the 3 gifts a personal goal or a TikTok goal to move forward? Well, it gave me the option to enable a goal here on TikTok, and it had 3 of the care emojis that you see on Facebook. So again, I've seen like people send galaxies and donuts and all of that on TikTok all the time. Even before I joined TikTok, I would watch TikTok compilations from time to time, and you'd have people sending full-on galaxies and other gifts that translates into money, pretty much, into real-life money. Yeah, don't worry, you're not missing too much on TikTok. Yeah, the 3 gifts was just a personal goal that it's set by default. I just enabled it. I think TikTok's gifting system's a little bit odd, but I'll figure it out with due time eventually. Yeah, sure thing, Keith. You're very welcome. Very welcome. A lot I could do on here on TikTok if I wanted to. But I'm just keeping it simple, stupid right now. Yeah, remember the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. Someone just said on Facebook, looking forward to summer. Yeah, you don't want to look forward to summer if it's going to be, or to summer if it's going to be bone dry and you don't have any snowpack in the mountains. You know, and you have to worry about the drought concerns again. Although December really helped mitigate the drought concerns for right now. My main concern is just having the reservoirs full by the time summer comes around. And Doppler Dave keeps on giving. It looks like that was his 20th super already. Thank you, Doppler Dave, for your $4 super duper. Appreciate that. Was gonna say if that was a TikTok goal, I'll go send another one so you can meet that goal. So you continue to succeed. Yeah, the goal session ended a while ago, so don't worry, it's no big deal. Again, this is only my 3rd stream I've done on TikTok, and it's just one of those test live streams. You know, I kind of have the apparatus set up that I want to use for the future on TikTok here, because I have the ability to also stream vertical out here from my streaming software without having to use the separate TikTok Live Studio application if I wanted to. And so that would make things a lot easier, because then I could do all of my transitions and all of that directly in OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, which is the software I use. I wouldn't have to rely on secondary software to stream at the same time. You know, it's a format that I'm used to doing for the most part. So I think it would just be a much easier transition. I still have to enable a few features like audio and other screen overlays. And I have a Stream Deck I'm using too, but I only use it to control the lights. Seemingly enough. I'm severely underutilizing right now how I could run these live streams in the future. And right now, it's really just, it's a lack of motivation. It's a huge lack of motivation. To be brutally honest. You know, I just had to kind of drag myself to do this live stream tonight. You know, with me being ill, like even a little bit ill, I've been taking it easy and just resting a lot. That's not good for my mental health. It's really not great for my mental health, honestly. But if I feel really good tomorrow, then I'm going to break it and Go and see my family for the NFL playoffs this weekend. And then hopefully return to the gym starting next week as the weather begins to slow down. Focus a lot on myself. Keith says snowpack is between 59% and 106% as of yesterday. Awesome. Doppler Dave says, time to get that motivation up, and he sent yet another super chat. Thank you, Doppler Dave. Everyone replied to Doppler Dave with the W. I think TikTok's run its course for the day. I have like one viewer coming every 5 minutes, and they're gone within a few seconds. So I think the TikTok live is just about done. I think it's safe to say that it is donezo. So TikTok live, peace out. See you guys for the next one. Keep going live and get one new follower. You could get at least 3 cents more. Yeah, not worried about that. I'll save that for another day. Oh yeah. So the people that were invited were already followers. I just thought it sent random invites at first. I think next TikTok live stream I may do it from the software itself. W for Dave. Yes, W for Dave. That is correct. Do I want to set this up right now and try it? Kind of tempted to, not gonna lie. They have to set up audio and everything too. So audio input capture. Yeah, okay. Weird, can I copy and paste the filters over? Test. Yeah, it is different. Yeah, there's still some getting feedback. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, we're gonna shut that down. All right, is that better? Because it had 2 input captures going at the same time, one for the vertical, one for the horizontal. That wasn't that wasn't going well. All right. Yeah, we hopefully fixed that. Keith, did that fix that? Sound like you were in a tube. All right, Keith, does that sound any better? Yes, okay. Yeah, we're not going to do that again during the live stream. Well, I should probably experiment with this off stream. Yeah, I figured something was acting up. Wonder how am I going to experiment with the vertical then, I wonder. Probably have to do like a private TikTok live stream and then just adjust my parameters like that. All right. I think we've pretty much discussed everything we need to, right? Unless anyone has any follow-up requests they want to. Doppler Dave says he's going to check out the blogs. Yes, perfect. Yeah, check out Keith's blog for sure. K-Dog Weather on Facebook. K-DAWG Weather. Or Keith's Weather blog. No winds for Bellingham area. It's going to get breezy. It'll get breezy coming up, and let me show you guys what I mean. The 0Z experimental model's rendering right now, but we can go back to the 18Z and show you the surface level winds for that area real quick. Let's look at the Bellingham area in particular again. Let's just click that dot right there. So we're already through 6 o'clock today. And if we go to what we're seeing right now, it's not even close. Look at max wind gusts today. And see, the RRFS is overdoing it right now for that area. But right now, it shows the wind gusts picking up tomorrow morning. But probably not to this extent, so you'll at least likely feel a southerly breeze tomorrow in the Bellingham area throughout the day. And it's going to continue into Monday afternoon. So the wind is going to be pretty steady throughout that time out of the south or southeast. So mainly out of the south-southeast. Yeah, wind's going to be out of the south-southeast direction. You see, it's going to remain pretty constant. Pretty constant over the next couple of days. But it looks like nothing more than a strong breeze at this time for the Bellingham area. Okay, I think I may have just figured it out. All right. So I linked my audio input capture from my horizontal stream to my vertical stream as well. Instead of creating two simultaneous streams that could cancel each other out. I think we may have just fixed that. Okay, didn't anyone watching right now, did you notice a decrease in audio quality, or does it still sound okay compared to before? NAM was showing 45 on Sunday. Yeah, just throw the NAM in the trash. I think the NAM has run its lifespan. The NAM's done. It almost always overdoes the wind, and a lot of the times it overdoes it like crazily. No, sounds good. Sounds the same. Good. Okay. Yeah, it gave me the option to link the audio from my previous scene over to my vertical scene. So I just had to select that instead. And I get to keep all the parameters, and I don't have to change a single thing. I still have my gate, my EQ, and my limiter. So perfect. So one step closer towards doing TikTok live streams here on the PC. What speed is a strong breeze? Strong breeze is going to be up towards like 35 to 40 miles per hour. And I'm talking about gusts. We're talking like sustained winds. It's going to be upwards of 25 mile per hour sustained winds and 35 to 40 mile per hour sustained gusts. If you want to be more exact, there's a scale you can look at called the Beaufort Wind Scale. And I'll pull that up for you guys right now. But it's a good way to determine wind speed. So see how well you guys can see this. Hang on. Strong breeze here. Okay, I was looking more towards level 7. So a level 6 is a bit weaker than that. Again, a strong breeze here has a wind speed, not counting gusts, of 25 to 30 miles per hour. No, I was thinking of gusts, so never mind. Scratch that. I was actually just about on it with a strong breeze. The 25 mile per hour sustained winds are right on the bottom end of a strong breeze. So I think I did have that right the first time. And then, of course, you have the hurricane scale, the Saffir-Simpson scale. But for wind scale, you want to use the Beaufort wind scale. Keith, maybe you can make a blog on the Beaufort wind scale in the future, too. Where were we? Yeah, so that atmospheric river plume's coming closer. It's getting much closer to the area now. It's about to start moving into north and central Vancouver Island here very shortly. Ooh, there's even a lightning strike. Way west of Cape Mendocino. That won't get anywhere close to us. Not expecting any thunderstorms coming up with this. Just a heads up. Keith says we'll do. All right. We have ourselves a deal, don't we? South End Lake Whatcom, we get way higher winds than projected. Again, the microclimate at its best. And guys, I need to take care of a little side task real quick. Go ahead and try that out. We've had trees snap in half on wind advisory. They do get winds out there, yes. Very, very true. Trying to figure out the TikTok desktop application. Like, if I don't go live through their proprietary application, I wonder how I'm going to be able to view live comments. If the TikTok application itself, like the website, allows me to view the stream in real time. I wonder. Guess we'll have to figure it out in due time, right? Probably. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. We have more things to worry about. Like the Pineapple Express coming up. Think the Her probably does better with winds. Just a little bit. Let's go see what the Her shows for up north coming up. And it shows wind gusts picking up to around 40 miles per hour by 3 p.m. tomorrow. And then gusting to 40 as well by 4 p.m. Sunday. And it could get quite breezy around the Puget Sound and a bit windy along the coast. But it hardly looks like any, if any, wind at all for the foothills and the South Puget Sound area. All of this white basically means 0 wind gusts. No more wind tunnel microclimate nonsense for me. We took down the last of the south trees that threatened our house. 16 trees later, grand total. Bravo. Gonna be going to bed early tonight, that's for sure. As long as it's not at night, my kid hates to win. Yeah, the nighttime up there doesn't look half bad. Just breezy. It doesn't look too terrible at nighttime coming up the next 48 hours, so I'd say that's a good sign. Oh, excuse me. We can add a stream output. Okay, yeah, so I do have the ability to stream to TikTok also. TikTok Live Center. Well, that was not supposed to open on that screen. Good thing that wasn't any super important information. +2 new likes on your post. Yeah, in case you guys haven't followed along either, Puget Sound Stormwatch is also on Instagram. And it's at Puget Sound Stormwatch. If you guys want to go follow the Instagram for updates as well. Not going to be much different than what you see on Facebook and Patreon, though. It's really just cross-posting. Although I have to change things up a bit to account for the Instagram interface. Well, I like the analytics on the TikTok page. That's pretty cool. Let's see. TikTok server. Please enter your stream server. And stream key. Do I even have the option to do that? The night wind is the worst for me. Should we start naming them? Should we start naming the atmospheric rivers? Is that what you're asking? I kind of missed what you're referring to on that. Sorry about that. All right, Keith, have a great night. Funnies, I do tree management for power line utility companies. Month storm call, but my son hates it. I could get the power company to take care of the really nasty tree to my west, 10 feet off the power line, but they told me they won't do anything about it. Sounds irresponsible, but I'm not surprised, unfortunately. It just sounds like negligence at best. Oh boy. Now I'm kind of determined to figure out how to get this to stream to TikTok in real time off the computer. Might not be able to do it though because I don't have access to a stream key on the PC version of TikTok. I don't know why I'm still worrying about this though. I think I'm gonna take my focus off of that. Also saw YouTube allows you the ability to also stream vertical video to their platform as well, which is also pretty cool. I think you can stream it to YouTube Shorts. I'll have to try that out eventually. If I can do it from OBS. We have certain criteria we can only do. So you're PSE. Yeah, Ashley, are you PSE? I think really that entire area down there is PSE, right? There's some TPU down there, but I think the Roy area is in PSE. Rotting, and that's 2 100+ foot trees out of 1 super shallow root ball. Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. And yeah, PSE. Oh, boy. Well, folks, I think we talked about pretty much everything we need to talk about as far as I can tell. So apparently it's not possible unless you're an agency to stream the TikTok via the plugin I'm using on OBS. So I would have to use TikTok Live Studio to stream, which would require me to use 2 software simultaneously to do it. That's a little disappointing. That's going to create some inconsistencies between the streams. Like, for example, if I were to switch layouts. So I think it's probably best if I just keep the horizontal live streaming to Facebook and YouTube for now. Otherwise, TikTok in the future, if I live stream from my PC, is probably going to be very limited in capabilities. But I'm not going to stress out too much about it right now. Let's go check how many viewers we have still. Looks like 11 on YouTube and 8 of you guys on Facebook. No name Prepping for Disasters shared your stream on Facebook. Interesting. Northwest Tectonic and Volcanic News shared your stream. Wonder how large these pages are. I'll have to look into those for sure. I can tell you guys, the page growth here on Facebook has been really, really slow since December. Like, I've somehow been able to net, like, around 150 followers on Facebook, but I've lost a lot of followers ever since. Like, my counter was going down today, and I actually, overnight, I netted a total of -2 followers on Facebook, which was a little disappointing to wake up to. But I'm not going to stress too much over it. It's a slow period right now. I'm not expecting too much growth. But then I go over and look at Ben's page, and his has gone up a few thousand just in like 12 hours. But then again, he's putting in the work. He's up there at the pass. He's doing much more frequent posting and live streaming, so he's putting in the work and he's reaping the benefits. So I couldn't be happier for Ben and the team, honestly. Washington Weather Chasers team, they're absolutely killing it right now. They're a little shy of 250,000 followers on Facebook, which is insane. Just blowing all of the pages out of the water here on Facebook. All right, everyone, it's about to turn 7 o'clock. Probably going to take some melatonin and wind down for the night. Gotta clean myself up tomorrow and get ready for some playoff football. I'm just happy to see the Seahawks don't have to play the first week. It's a huge sigh of relief. I'm just waiting to see who we play in our first matchup, though. Those of you guys who don't know, of course, we don't have to play the Bears or the Eagles in the first matchup. But we have a chance of either playing the Packers, Rams, 49ers, or the Panthers. I don't know about you guys, but I'd much rather play either the Packers or the Panthers in the first round. And hopefully we don't have to run into the Rams in the playoffs, honestly. I'd feel much better about playing the Eagles or the Bears in the championship game here in Seattle. I think that would be a thriller. Doppler Dave says, keep your head up. Yeah, we'll try my best. Thank you for all your generous donations and your kind words, Doppler Dave. One of the MVPs of these streams. I subscribe to all those channels. I like your straight weather approach. Thank you. Yeah, I'm working on my communication on a daily basis. I've had to tighten things up quite a bit since that Christmas Eve bust, and it still just gives me a really stale taste in my mouth thinking about how much of a blunder that was. That doesn't happen often. The fact that we've had 2 massive busts in 1 year is pretty mind-blowing. March 26th and Christmas Eve, both being 2 of the most historical weather busts in recent history, is again just a huge, mind-blowing sensation. Doubler Dave says, never a bust with weather. Well, I like to tell that to all the thousands of comments that I see bashing weather forecasters out there, especially the amateurs. Much agreed with the Packers or the Panthers. Our guys have been running hard this season. Excited to see how the playoffs go. Yeah, and we'll also be healthier after this break too. We'll be getting Charles Cross back. That's going to be huge. I just hope he doesn't false start a lot in the playoffs. That would suck. But I'm for sure a bit nervous to see who we play. Because I'm more confident. Well, also the 49ers make me nervous too, because they're going to get Fred Warner back by at least the the NFC Championship, if they make it that far. I'm just hoping the Eagles take care of business and wipe them out the first week. That would be the best solution in my opinion. And hopefully the Panthers take out the Rams too. But I don't think the Packers are going to upset the Bears, honestly. If they do, then we'll know very soon. I think that's one of the games tomorrow, right? Or is that on Sunday? The Packers versus Bears. People think weather is predictable. Yep, you summed it up pretty well. They think it's predictable or that people should not be predicting it. That's a lot of what I've seen. I've seen if you post more than like 24 hours out, then it's likely going to be wrong. Oh, you're a 49er fan. Oh, so sorry for your loss. Yeah, playing a divisional opponent in the playoffs is definitely no easy feat. No easy feat whatsoever. Why I think ideally be better off playing either the Packers or Panthers in the first round and then the Eagles in the second round. Or the second and the third. So either Packers or Panthers in the second round and then the Eagles in the third. I think would be a fair matchup to get to the Super Bowl. Let's see how many of those home teams can take care of business coming up this Super Wildcard weekend. All right, folks. Well, I think I'm about mentally checked out of this stream. So, yeah, incoming system right now. High cloud cover taking over the area. And the stream of moisture is a couple hundred miles to our west, and it's going to be moving in quick tomorrow morning. So, likely, again, if you're north and west of Olympia, no, I'd say if you're north and west of Everett, let's say Everett. If you're north and west of Everett, you'll likely be seeing the rain first tomorrow. And then it'll start to fill in for the rest of us as we go into the afternoon time tomorrow and morning time on Sunday. So that's what the current prognosis is looking like the next 24 hours. Again, no huge wind problems that I'm seeing right now in the short term or the long term, which is good. We just have to get through this Pineapple Express and then maybe a week of fog and some freezes here and there in the lower elevations. And then after that, it's kind of a toss-up what happens. Yeah, stormy. Go Hawks, for sure. And Doppler Dave is from Cali. So, yeah, that's justified. But if you're from anywhere in Washington and Northwest Oregon and you're a 49ers fan that wasn't born in California, then we're going to have some serious hatred. Completely joking, though. I'm completely joking. Any tornadoes in the south? There was some slop in the Dixie Alley. That's what's lighting up here on the lightning map. I don't know if there were any confirmed tornadoes. I know Reed Timmer was doing a solo chase down there, but technical difficulties ended his stream quite early. It looked like the storm mode was a bit too messy down there. There weren't enough discrete supercells that had a clean inflow to produce really widespread tornadoes. I think it was more of a large hail damaging wind threat. But I haven't heard of any tornadoes down there today. Born in LA, sorry. Don't worry, nothing to be sorry about. You can't control where you're born and if you're born. Thanks for the live. Yep, sounds good. Thank you, Stormy, for tuning in. I just have to figure out what I want to do if I want to stream to TikTok live on the PC anytime soon. Because it looks like I'm not able to from OBS, which is kind of a disappointment. That would have made things so much easier to do from the PC, but I'll have to run two separate programs to do that. And I'm not sure if I want to do that, honestly. Maybe in the future, but for right now, it just doesn't seem like anything of interest to me. Doppler Dave says, oh, it was a mess. Yeah, I didn't tune into Reed's live stream during it, only after it, and the fact that over half of his live stream was a dead stream was just kind of tough. And Doppler Dave again with the $3 super. Thank you, sir. But yeah, folks, I think that's going to do it for our coverage tonight. Not a super long live stream. I just wanted to talk about the details of this upcoming Pineapple Express system and the potential for some strong ridging after it. So it's really going to nip away at the it's really going to nip away at the snowpack for the mountains. And I should be able to show this to you as well. It's how much the snowpack goes down. We're going to look at snow depth. One last thing I want to show you guys. And you notice how our snow depth begins to decrease as we go into the next 6-day period. Although again, this is a lower resolution solution. So shouldn't be taken 100% seriously, but it's still not a good sign going to the extended. And the 12Z gets even worse. See, only out towards the 23rd of January does it start to not decrease. See, we lose a lot of this white right here too. You just don't want to see that. Wonder if the National Blend of Models does a better job of this. No, it doesn't show snow depth, only total snowfall. Not the right parameter. SREF potentially. Let's see what the short range ensemble forecast shows. See, also a decrease too. Also decreases. Doubler Dave says, have a great night. Hopefully be on the next live stream, but I never get the alerts. Yeah, for any scheduled live streams like this, I didn't, I was kind of sloppy tonight. I wasn't prepared in time. But normally I will still post members only reels letting you know ahead of time when I go live. So you may not get notified for the reel either, but at least you have a better chance of seeing the reel than the live stream notification if you go on YouTube. And you'll see it several hours ahead of time as well. I'm still working on the schedule I want to do. It's really it's dependent right now on when the weather events happen. And with the slow weather period likely coming up too, we'll probably have a more fixed schedule. Like, I know Ben was going to be doing Monday and Friday, which sounds like a great schedule, honestly. Monday and Friday sounds great. But I wouldn't want to live stream on the same days as him. It's because I don't want to get in the way of his live stream, but I also don't want I also don't want his live streams taking my whole audience too, if that makes sense. It's nothing selfish or personal. It's just thinking realistically and thinking ahead, if you know what I mean. Nothing personal against Ben at all. I wouldn't be able to simulcast without Ben's help. He made this simulcast possible. And all the previous simulcasts to Facebook and YouTube, he made it all possible. So thanks, Ben and team, for that. One last check over the comments. Still going. Who's still going? Wait, is Reed going again? Did Reed start live streaming again? Or is there something else that I missed? No, I'm not seeing anything on my feed from Reed, so that must have been referring to something else. Or unless you're referring to me still going when I said I was going to be done. That too. Yeah, folks, I think that's going to do it. I'm about duped out for the night. Doppler Dave said I'll stay until it's over. Yeah, it's going to be over here in a moment. So thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry if it was kind of a slower live stream than you're normally used to. It's still not 100% of the way there, but I'm working on it. We'll we'll be back close to 100% soon enough. Now, I've just been kind of pushed back in the shadows this last 5 days or so, just dealing with this cold. Wanted it to heal up as quick as possible, so I'm not putting a lot of stress on my body. Now, I've been kind of in self-isolation as well. Like, I think the last time I left my apartment was actually on Monday, which is kind of sad, but not trying to get anyone else around me sick, especially the immunocompromised people, so I'm just playing it smart by sacrificing my own mental health as a result. But I don't think we'll have any concerns from this point on, knock on wood. So with all that being said, Anthony here from Puget Sound Stormwatch. We are signing off for the night. I think I should be putting out another blog post on Facebook tomorrow ahead of time, talking about the conditions and the forecast. And if you guys are subscribers on Facebook or patrons on Patreon, I'll likely have an update for you guys in the morning as well. I've been kind of sloppy on those sub updates, but I want to be better about that. And I said I blame it on the sore throat. That's what I said. Keep that dream alive. Yeah, I'm trying whatever I can at the moment, but during the slow weather, a lot of people just don't want to support during the slow weather. Sometimes they follow along during the active weather and then they immediately jump ship after it's done. That's what I've noticed too. Get some good rest. Yes, thank you. Just trying to think long term here, but it's not looking good for February. I'll be honest. The financial part of it's not looking good for February. We need a lot of help. I'm probably going to keep that resume on standby. Thinking long term here. But anyways, with all that nonsense being said, I'll be here watching, Doppler Dave said, okay? That just about does it. All right, everyone, have a great night. See you guys.